Hello everyone, welcome to Stampin' Up with Jaimie. I'm so happy you're joining me tonight, either live or catching this on replay. Thanks for joining me. I've been busy working on tonight's cards. I'm using plural because I actually have a couple of them to show you and I'm pretty excited. I put out a poll on Facebook this week. I was torn between whether to use the Welcoming Window bundle or the, what's it called? Hydrangea Haven. And some people picked Hydrangea Haven, but definitely hands down, the majority of people picked the Welcoming Window bundle. So that's what I played with tonight. And I did a couple of cards. This is one I'm going to be making for you live, but I do have a couple of other ones to show you. So this is one, I have to say it wasn't going to be the one I was going to show you or make tonight. But I sat down yesterday and I just all of a sudden felt very inspired. And so I threw this one together. Your combined idea. I was very tempted, Amy. I was tempted, but I figured, I would leave that for you to do since you had the idea and obviously the vision that I would leave that for you to do. Okay, so let me kind of show you what I'm playing with and then I'll show you my other cards. The Welcoming Window bundle. It's beautiful. Okay, it's kind of unique. There aren't too many that I've seen like this. It has a distinctive look to it, which means it's very realistic looking. And it just has so many possibilities and different ways you can interpret this bundle, the stamp set. And I'm going to show you how it could be a little intimidating, but it's really can be used for a beginner stamper or someone that's been stamping for quite a while. So lots of options and lots you can do. So we have this sort of window, a couple of different pots, this great brick detail, shutters, and then some really great sentiments. And then two possibilities for sort of bouquets. The dies are equally impressive. They are the window flower box dies, and they look like this. So these guys coordinate with the stamp and will cut out the stamped image. And these are kind of standalone images. We have ones that will cut out the stamped images. And these really fun like details we can put on the shutters. So many different ways you can kind of mix and match between the dies and the stamp set. And I think you're really going to like this bundle. I think you're going to want it by the time we're done today. Let me tell you. Okay, so when I started creating, this was the card I was originally going to make for you tonight. I took it very much inspired out of the catalog. I opened up the catalog, I saw a very similar card, and I was very inspired by it. So kind of similar to the one I'm going to be similar in that I did this brick detail. This dark color is Early Espresso. This is Bermuda Bay. I made a window, some shutters. I did the brick detail. I believe the brick detail, oh gosh, what color did I do that in? I think it's Sahara Sand, stamping off for the lighter shade. And then, excuse me, Granny Apple Green and Magenta Madness for the flowers. So this is the one I was going to make for you tonight. Then I wanted to give you an option because like I said, there's stamped images and then there's die images. So kind of getting the, excuse me, my color inspiration from this card, I created this one. Now, there's something really wrong with this card, and I didn't realize it until I saw someone else make a card with this bundle. Can anyone figure out what's wrong with this card? Let's see if you can figure out. There's something aesthetically wrong with this card, and I didn't realize it. It took me a little while, and then now that I know it, I can't not see it. But this card here is Crumb Cake with Pool Party, basic black for the hinges there. This is stamped in Crumb Cake and then Pool Party, and then the same color combinations, Granny Apple Green and Magenta Madness for the flowers. For this brick background here, I used our beautiful blending brushes, and I kind of created this sort of, I didn't evenly do it. Let's put it that way. I kind of did a little color here, a little color there, and then I embossed it with the brick and mortar embossing folder. It needs it open light windows rather than crumb cake ones? Okay, yes, you're probably right, Connie, but there's something like aesthetically wrong. Aesthetically. I'm just going to set that here and see if anyone can ponder it and look at it. I didn't realize it, honestly, until I went potzing around and I saw someone else's card. I went, oh, I totally did that wrong. Hinges on the outside rather than the inside? Nope, that's not it. I'll leave it there for one more second and then I'll tell you what's wrong with it. I mean, all those things could definitely be wrong, but there's something very aesthetically wrong. So like I said, the bundle could be a little bit on the intimidating side. Like there's lots going on. How do I use this? And then there's lots of dies going on, and it just can feel a little bit on the overwhelming side. Jillian, you are correct. The shutters won't shut because they should look like this. If you think of how shutters close, this is the way they should look and not this way. Yes, you're right, Amy. So I could pull the shutters off and redo it, but I think I'm just going to leave it there because even myself, it took a little bit for me to realize that I had done it wrong. And so we'll see if whomever I mail this card realizes it and says anything, or maybe they just act with grace and don't say anything at all. But so lesson number 1, make sure you adhere your shutters the correct way so they actually like close. I did it backwards. So this is a card I wanted to show you because you can, if you are a beginner stamper, maybe you haven't been doing this as long, you're still kind of getting your feet wet. This is still a really beautiful stamp set that you can use without even needing the dies necessarily. You can really piece together a beautiful card. And exactly, Jillian, it's something. And this is a great example. So on my card here, this is what I would call a card for like a beginner. There's no dies. This is a completely stamped card front, basic white. And then I use crumb cake, mint macaron, and then bumblebee. And then down here I used gray granite, but stamping off first. So if you are a beginner crafter and you're new to stamping and you might think this is a little overwhelming, right? There's lots of different pieces and different things you can do with it. You can also go with a really simple, beautiful card. I love that it is, Christy, you're funny. I love that it has a distinctive look to it. So it's almost like rustic looking. And you really can make a beautiful card with none of the dies, just straight up stamping. So a simple window with 2 shutters, a potted fern of some sort. I don't know what that's called. You know me, I don't know flowers or any of that sort of thing. And then I did a little bit of light stamping of the brick and the 2 corners stamping off. So it's a lighter shade than would be the full strength. So a couple different options if you wanted like all dazzled up, of course, do your shutters correctly. Or if you want to keep it more on the simpler side, I actually really love this. I mean, if you follow my blog, if you've seen me stamping, I really love simple cards, simple stamping. I really love minimal. So I actually really, really like this card, even though it doesn't have all the bells and whistles to it. I think it's one of my favorites. However, the one we're making tonight, I thoroughly love as well. So let's just dive in and I'll walk you through how I went about to make the card. So Denise, I totally wanted to put curtains on the windows. I mean, I was there. My mind, great minds think alike. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I took out my ribbon. I was kind of playing. I wanted them kind of like swagging down with like a bow here, but I couldn't figure out how, unless you have really, really wide ribbon, I don't think it looks right. Or I don't know, you'll have to play with it and see if you can come up with curtains of some sort. Because, or maybe on the inside of the window so it doesn't have to cover as much space. Maybe that's a good idea. But I definitely was thinking that way as well. Like curtains would look really cute with this design. So, y'all, once you get the bundle, try it out, make curtains, and then show me how you were able to solve the mystery. Because yeah, I wanted curtains. I thought they would be really cute. Okay. So let's just dive into tonight. I have a piece of mint macaron cardstock. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I'm gonna go And then I just took another panel. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's the complete size of the card front. Again, mint macaron. And I embossed it in the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. This is definitely one of my favorites. I use it a lot. I felt it needed just a little bit of texture here in the background, but I didn't want anything like too in your face or just with a ton of texture. I wanted like a really nice like background texture, and I think this really does the job nicely. So going to just adhere this to my, ooh, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to run out when I was live. I could like feel it was getting like to the end of it. And then I put, there it is, my refill. Okay, sorry, we are pausing to fix our adhesive. Don't mind this. Just a reminder, I announced it last week that I do have an event coming up in March 19th and the 20th. I'm calling it the Sweet Creations event. It's going to be entirely virtual, so you can participate from the comfort and safety of your home. There's going to be lots of craft stamping and, am I doing this wrong? Stamping and different fun games we're going to play and ways for you to win some giveaways. So all the details are up on my blog and on Facebook. I announced it on Sunday. So be sure to check out all the details. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to have a lot of fun. I don't know about you, but I need a little fun right now. So Sweet Creations event. Anyone can participate. If you're a demo, you can participate. If you're a customer, if you just want to pop on and have fun, you're welcome to. Okay. So having said that, I have a new adhesive in here. We're ready to go. I adhered that mint macaron to my card front here. Let's start working on our window. Okay. So I'm starting off with a panel of Whisper White. This measures 3 1/2 by 5 7/8. And the very first thing I'm going to do is take a blending brush. I love these blending brushes. I'm using them a lot. I find like I'm grabbing them. They just add a really nice kind of background without it having to be, it's not like cardstock. It's not a solid background. You know, I don't have a piece. You could put a piece of like yellow back there. But I like it just kind of the uneven color. So this is my color palette I'm playing with tonight, just so you have an idea. Daffodil Delight, Bumblebee, although it's subtle, Mint Macaron, Crumb Cake, and Gray Granite. Those are my colors. So the window, I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight. It's the only Daffodil Delight I use in the card, but I thought I would sort of mention that I used it. And these blending brushes are really, really great. I love them. So you just kind of rub the top of your ink pad, and the ink sits right there. You can see it comes off. I'm going to go to my, like on a piece of scrap paper, just to get like that initial ink that's sitting on the top. Like I don't want a blop of ink. I want a subtle background. So I'm just going to gently kind of rub off a little bit. And then I'm going to apply a little bit. You can always add. You can't take away. So don't go too heavy-handed in the beginning. Just kind of add a little bit of color. And then what I did was I took my window and I kind of put it over it to see, like, did I want it darker? Is that a good color? I think I want it just a smidge more darker. That's horrible English. More darker. So I'm just going to apply a little bit more, and I'm very gently pressing. I'm not like rubbing. I'm just letting the bristles kind of touch the paper ever so gently. And I think that's good. I don't want it like too bright. I just kind of want a touch of yellow poking through. Now, the funny thing about this sort of like yellow detail is that technically we're like looking into the house or looking into the building or whatever this is. And so, you know, it's not like sunlight. It's technically like lamps. But I don't know. I took some artistic liberty with that. So yeah. Okay. Just grabbing Stampin' Dimensionals here. Oh, I think I have to open a new thing. Hold on. Oh, I do have to open a new one. Let me just grab some dimensionals here. I wanted this, I wanted the windows and the shutters propped up. So there's a little little bit of dimensionals right here in the middle. And it's like super, super skinny. It's even like too skinny for our mini dimensionals. Like it's really, really narrow. So what I did is, if I can grab it, it's harder from a, I need my scissors. It's harder from a brand new pack of dimensionals. But, there we go. Okay. I grabbed the end of one of our dimensionals. There's two ends. There's a thicker end and then the more narrow end. So I grabbed the more narrow end. And then I just snipped the point off of it. Like so. Okay, so it's basically just like a very thin strip of dimensionals. And if you snip the ends off, it is like the perfect size. Oh, I went a little too long. Let me just pull all these little extra pieces off. Okay. I'm just going to snip that. Perfect. Okay. And I didn't do the ends. I really feel like just the strip down the middle really holds it in place. Yes, Carla, it's so fun. Oh my goodness. I feel like there's so much you can do. You can really like bedazzle the heck out of it, or you can really keep things kind of simple. Either way. I love that there's a Mother's Day sentiment on it. All the sentiments are covered. There's a thank you, a welcome, my sweet friend, which works for everything, Mother's Day, and then a birthday. Like really great sentiments. You know me. I love a good sentiment. Okay. This is the hardest part I found, was getting this straight. So what I actually thought I would do, let me just grab this. Let's see here. Yeah. I'm going to use that as a guide. I really struggled with getting my window on straight, to be honest. Wait, I think I went a little bit lower. That was the hardest part. So I'm just going to take like another piece of cardstock and put it on the bottom as a little gauge. I'm using my grid paper to make sure this is straight. Everything's on the grid paper. That's straight. That's straight. So if I butt this up to the grid paper, in theory, I should get it straight. Now I want to make sure I don't accidentally touch that. That would be bad. Okay, good. We're getting there. So again, this is my inspiration. That's the card we're making. Okay, so this guy here, so this is the one I used to cut out the window, and you can see it has like this grain embossed into the die, so it's cutting and embossing at the same time. Then I use this to make my shutters, and I cut them out of crumb cake cardstock. Do not put them like this. Your shutters will not close. Like, watch, like, right? That's not... Unless like Jillian says they're like really modern and they slide. I think they're supposed to go like this. So that's what we're going with. Oh, I know, Carla, but this was really bothering me. So this was actually a little wider, but it was like completely like cockeyed. So I had to like trim my cardstock to make it be straight. Okay, so but you're right. Don't stress about it too much, I suppose. I use dimensionals. So everything is propped up. The shutters, the window, and the flowers, they're all, oops, I just took the thing off that one. They all have dimensionals on them. I love dimensionals. I use them a lot. That's the other thing I wanted to say. So in my simpler card here, this base down here is propped up with dimensionals. So if you keep your front really, really simple, I just did some basic stamping. I just stamped the images. I mean, not even two-step stamping. It's just stamping the different images. I matted it on one cardstock. And then I feel like as long as you put dimensionals under there, it just kind of adds a lot to the card. It just makes it like a step up. That's what I think, at least. I could be completely wrong. That's what I tell myself. I don't know. Okay, so for my shutters, I think I'm going to try and do this with my left hand, but Lord have mercy. That's a little nerve-wracking. There we go. And then the right one. Yes, Carla, I didn't either. Oh, see, mine's a little wide. I may trim that. So this side is definitely longer than this. I'm going to trim it because that's really going to bother me. So I guess, I don't know how you figure out like center. I kind of eyeballed it, but that is definitely wider. So I'm going to just trim it down because it looks a little lopsided if you ask me. Let me just, hold on, I got to get my measurement though. Okay, so that ended up being, 4.5. I have to trim my crumb cake. Hold on, sorry, I'm just trimming it down because my window wasn't exactly centered this way. So there was like this huge piece of white over here. So I just trimmed it down a little bit. Yeah, so my shutters on my other card were completely wrong, and I didn't even notice it until I saw someone else's card, and I went, oh, oops. Oh, wow. So when I made the card, I actually had I used this guy here. I cut him out of crumb cake, and I had him under here. It was like really cute. But honestly, it completely gets covered with the flowers, so there's no sense in doing that. Yeah, that's a good idea, Connie. I use my grid paper a lot. I mean, a lot for my measurements, for making sure things are straight, for eyeballing things. I use my grid paper a lot. I find it a really great tool that we have. So yeah, I use it a lot. Okay, let's stamp our flowers. Again, the thing underneath gets covered, so there's no sense, honestly, in wasting the cardstock, although, I mean, it's super small, but you literally don't see it at all. So I know it's there. No one else knows it's there, so no sense in even, like, wasting our time. The flowers I did in mint macaron and bumblebee. And I'm going to stamp the leaf first. The leaves. The foliage. I don't know. I don't even dare attempt to talk like flower terminology because I have no idea. So I don't know. It's a little challenging. It can be a little challenging. It was a little challenging to try and do this two-step stamping. I'm stamping all over my ink pad because my mint macaron desperately needs to be re-inked. And so I'm hoping I got good coverage kind of going all over the ink pad. Yeah, I did. When I'm done here, I definitely need to re-ink that. So I found stamping the leaves first easier and then stamping the flowers in it. It is sort of, kind of a guessing game, I suppose. The flowers, are supposed to go like that. Okay. So like this, I don't know, like tulipy one kind of in the left-hand corner, and it does fit, but I don't know. Don't overthink it, I guess would be my rule. If you overlap some of the green, it's not the end of the world. And I'm telling you that because I'm really talking to myself as well. It's okay, Jaimie, if the flowers overlap the green. They kind of fit. There's like these little notches, these little holes in the green that are meant for the flowers, but it could be a little tricky. When I was playing with it yesterday, I kind of overlapped a little bit on some of my cards, so no big deal. Okay, I'm going to cut these out with, where is it? This die. It fits perfectly. And I'm going to just do this off screen here. I got stuff everywhere on my desk. Who else is a messy stamper? I can't be the only one. I find I make a big ginormous mess and then I'm like, I can't handle it anymore, and then I do like a massive cleaning, but it usually starts off with a huge mess first. Okay, so there's one. Hopefully, yep, we're good. Is that good? It's a little to the left, but that's okay. We're gonna call it good enough. And then the other one, run it through. Okay. And we get this. Beautiful. Oops. Really nice. I like these colors together a lot. So let me start putting things. Actually, no, I can't do that. What am I thinking? Oh my goodness. Okay. So if you hadn't done what I have done, you would have realized that I did things backwards, that I should have stamped the brick first. Let's see if I can finagle this. So when I did my card here, I don't know, I completely just had like a lapse of brain power, I guess. I stamped the brick first. So if you're making this card, I hope you haven't been following along this whole time because you need to stamp the brick first. Yes, exactly, Terry. By the time it's time for bling, you have no room on your desk. Exactly. And I find like the garbage is overflowing, like there's just stuff everywhere. And then I'm like, dah! So then I do like a massive clean. I usually let it go really bad and then I just clean. You were wondering about that, Carla? Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me talk through how I did this. I initially was going to do the brick all the way up the wall, so to speak, wall. But I got to this part and I thought I kind of dislike it like partly up the way. So I left it that way, honestly. So what I'm going to do is, when I did my example, is I started on the bottom and worked my way up, but all I'll do is start at the top and make my way down. No big deal. It's doable. So I stamped it in gray granite, and for the darker shades it's straight on, and for the lighter shades I stamped offers. I like it with the two shades because it kind of gives it a little bit, I don't know, it's like real brick, right? All real brick isn't, actually the flowers are going to cover. Okay, so I don't have to be too crazy about these ones because the flowers are going to cover that. So for the lighter ones, I just like went straight right back onto it, and it gave me that lighter shade. And let me go straight over here. And then down here, you just kind of have to like offset it. It's just, whoops. Oopsies. Oops. So that's okay. Bricks can be two different colors. I forgot that when I had part of it hanging off, it didn't actually stamp, so. And they fit together, so you can really just kind of stagger them very easily. And it looks kind of cool. So, no harm done. Easy fix. It's about 2 rows. So I did 2 rows, and then the flowers are going to kind of cover part of it. I'm going to adhere it to my crumb cake because it'll be easier, I think. Now, because I trimmed it down, so it ended up being 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. I know originally I had said, what did I say? 3 3.5, I think I said in the beginning. Anyways, I ended up trimming it down because I didn't stamp it center. I mean, I didn't adhere it center. So, and then I trimmed. There's no brick police. Aw, that's funny, Carla. That's funny. Okay, so that went on a panel of crumb cake. Anytime I mat, I just do 1/8 bigger. Okay, so whatever your whisper white ends up being the measurements, when I mat, I just go 1/8 bigger. Oh, good, you're done with dishes. Yes, nice, Roz. Don't you feel like once the dishes are done, you can like finally kick your feet up a little bit? I always feel like I can't quite do it until the dishes are like done. Seeing them just sitting there like calling my name like, come clean me. Yeah, I can't relax. Okay, so for my flowers, I'm going to use dimensionals, which I put over here. And oops, one probably would have done it, but I kind of lopsided that one, so we're going to put another one next to it. Oops. And I'm going to hold the other one. Just, this isn't glued yet. I didn't peel it, but just so I have an idea of space. We're going to put that one there. And this one like there. I don't know. Whatever. Wherever you feel like placing it works. Oops. I didn't glue that down. Oh my goodness. I lifted up to show you and the thing goes sliding off. Okay. Make sure you adhere the crumb cake to the front. Make sure you are adhering it properly. Okay. Okay. So beautiful. I love this so much. Oh. Gosh, Karen, that sounds sweet. I hope I get to that point at some point in my life. Right now we have a dishwasher. That's as good as it gets. So at this point you could add another sentiment from the bunch. I went with this one because I felt like it fit really well kind of here at the top, the long, narrow sentiment. Obviously, if you were going with one of the bigger sentiments, you may have to account for where you're going to place that, or honestly, just put the sentiment in the inside. I really think that the sentiment doesn't always have to go on the front. At least this is what I tell myself, because a lot of the times I kind of plan out a card and then I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't like leave a space for the sentiment. So always feel free just to tuck it on the inside. But This one is like super narrow and skinny and fits up here beautifully. So let me get, yep, a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm gonna stamp the sentiment and the mint macaron, and I'm just gonna have to trim it because it's so narrow. I don't even really know the exact dimensions or measurements it's actually gonna end up being. I'll try and give you a rough guesstimate, but let me stamp it first. Yeah, I'm gonna stamp it kind of close to the right. And when I stamp, I kind of like to let it linger a little bit on the paper. I don't know. I tell myself that the paper kind of absorbs it a little bit. It probably doesn't, but these are things I tell myself. I don't know if it makes a difference. In my head it does, but it could just be completely psychological. Who knows? I don't know. Okay. Then I'm going to take my trimmer and I'm just going to trim it down. Oops. And then I'll kind of, maybe I'll be able to give you a measurement of kind of what it ended up being. So it ends up being, oh my goodness, itty bitty, like 3/8 of an inch wide. Like it's super, super narrow. So when I'm stamping a super narrow sentiment, I usually stamp it like on a big panel and then I trim it down. It's just easier than trying to get it to stamp right for this. Oh, yay, Carla. I love it. I make you giggle. I'm a hot mess half the time, Heather. That's why I make you giggle. I don't know what I'm doing. How is the new white working out? Do I still have Whisper White? Okay, so I'm using actually Whisper White tonight just because I'm trying to get rid of the bit that I have. So this here is the Whisper White. However, do I dare show you? I have a card for Monday. I've never showed cards ahead of time than what I'm going to put on my blog. Okay, I want to show you. This here is the basic white. So this will be my card on Monday on my blog. And I don't know if you can tell, maybe if I get it like really close and catch the light just right. This here is the basic white. This is the Whisper White. And the Whisper White, they feel the same. They have pretty much the same thickness, I would say, but the basic white is a whiter white. So it's just, it's a whiter white. I'd never realized it, honestly, until you're like comparing the two. But the Whisper White has a little bit, ever so slight of a more yellow tinge to it. And again, you don't really notice it until you pop it next to like a super white cardstock. So this is the basic white. This is the Whisper White. I chose the basic white because anytime we have white, like in a designer series paper or something, it just matches better. So I did pop open my new package of basic white to specifically do this card because this white up next to our Whisper White just made it look a little dingy. So I love it. To me, that's almost like a perfect, I mean, if I'm comparing it, this white in our designer series paper with the basic white is pretty spot on. Whereas if I were to use the Whisper White, you can see it's just a little darker. It's not quite as bright a white. So I stamped on the basic white. It stamps beautifully. I haven't colored on it, but so far so good. I'm really pleased with how it looks, how it stamps. I love the brighter white, honestly. And I think it's a great, great product. So I'm really happy. I think they chose a great company to sell us the new white. So, and here's a little sneak peek. This will be my card on Monday. I was working on it today. Normally I do all my cards over the weekend, but I had a little time today. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to get a little bit ahead on next week's blog posts. So that, and I've been working on cards for my event. So my Sweet Creations, we're going to be making 3 make and take cards that I'll send you all the makings for, and they're really pretty. I think you're really gonna, if you have come to the party, come to the event, I think you're gonna really. Do I have them so I can give you like a side sneak peek? I have. Let's see here. Okay. This is one of them. Let's see if I can get it from like the very corner. Okay, that's one of the cards we're going to be making. Like super duper sneak peek. And then this is another one. Woo, super duper sneak peek. And then the third one, I have everything cut. I just haven't adhered it down yet. So that one I can't show you. But I hope you all are able to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm like giddy planning it all, honestly. I feel like a little kid that I'm like planning a slumber party or something. Like my friends are coming over, I get to plan. I don't know. I'm super excited. So I hope you're able to come. All the details are up on my blog. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. And honestly, if you probably have the question, other people do as well. Okay, so this is a sentiment. I cut it down. I trimmed the one end in a banner because, I don't know, I love banners. And, whoops. Gonna line it up, so hopefully I get this down straight. Whoops. And I have it kind of hanging off a little bit. So there's that. That's the front. Super cute, right? I love this bundle. I'm so glad you guys chose it for me to create with today because I love it. And I really think you are going to love it too, honestly. So let me just block up. I ran out of blocks. Karen was talking about needing to order more blocks for her lives. And I think I do too, honestly. I always like run out of the small ones. I need to get a couple more of these small ones. So for the inside of my card, I kept things really, really simple. I just stamped a simple jar in the corner. And I'm going to stamp him in the crumb cake. Just in the corner. I don't know. Just a simple detail. Still plenty of room for someone else to you know, write a sentiment or add, right? Like if it ends up being, well, it's kind of has a pretty specific sentiment on the front, but if you have another sentiment that would kind of coordinate, you still have room on the inside to put it there. So I'm really pleased. Which, by the way, whoops, if you've been watching and you have yet to leave a comment, quickly do so. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to draw names for someone to receive tonight's card. So there we have it. How fun is that? These are the ones I made tonight. And then, of course, I have the other ones that I'll showcase on my blog at some point or another. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do it all at once or kind of staggered out yet, but definitely plenty of cards to inspire. I think it's really, really fun. And the blending brushes just add a really kind of fun detail as well. So thank you all for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. And I'll be back next week with a new card. See you all then. Have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.